contractual for executive session, and 3 personnel matters on for executive session. We have the approval of council minutes for August 13th. We have 2 ordinances on for a second reading by title. There are 19 resolutions on this evening. However, we do have the addition of 1. They will be numbered 18-444, authorizing the services of Seamless Docs to provide a subscription service for electronic unlimited forms, submissions, and signature applications in an amount not to exceed $5,500. 1 matter of correspondence, payment of bills totaling $926,941.70. Council reports, and we conclude the public comments. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to add resolution 18-444, authorizing the services of Seamless Docs?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Council President Benjamin, seconded by Councilman Wallach. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? 18-444 is added. Can I get a motion also for 4 items of personal executive session, contractual, pedestrian beacon, and Middlesex County personal IT officer, tax department cashier, and court administrator?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Wallach, seconded by Councilman Dean. Again, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We'll have executive session tonight. Can I get any council comments on agenda items? Okay, at this point, I'll open up for public comments on agenda items only. None. Close the public portion. At this point, I ask for a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
So
We are adjourned. So no reason to delay. It's a public meeting. Again, this meeting has been advertised in accordance with the Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:40-6, with adequate notice of this meeting also being provided to the borough's 2 official newspapers and published on the borough's website. Amy, will you call the roll once more?
Councilman Dean?
Here.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Here.
Councilman Besh?
Here.
We said Councilman White's running late. Councilman Wallach?
Here.
Council President Benjamin?
Here.
Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation by Councilman Wall.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, bless this governing body, grant it the wisdom and courage to make just decisions for everyone. Amen.
And once again, we'll open up for public comments on agenda items only. None. Close the public. Yes. Yep.
Yes.
I'm Carol Cristados. I live on Saline Avenue, and I read that you were passing an amendment to the ordinance regarding vacant and abandoned houses. And for a long time, over 10 years, there's a house next door to me, and Mario did a fantastic job, and now John has been following up. And I've been researching and doing a lot on my own. And I think the problem and the frustration is the fact that the owner cannot be reached. And I found out on my own that the address that is located on the taxes is very interesting because it's many different addresses but the same phone number. The man is very out there. He's even an executive director. But he is not answering, he's not responding, and the big issue is there is no property management listed on the property. Previously, for 10 years, there were property managements posted, and I know that's the law. However, right now, there's none, and I don't think that is supposed to be, and I don't know what's happening. The town has been taking care of the property, but there's liens on there. I don't know how much longer that's going to be, and I'm frustrated because I have, and I'm not going to take the time here, of course, but I have his address, I have his phone numbers, and he is not responding. And my question is there some kind of legal thing now that you're putting through that he can be fined or something with violations? Because even the most recent thing I found, Governor Christie in 2014 signed a law, and if he is out of state, there's supposed to be an in-state representative taking care of the property. And apparently there's not, and he could be fined for that. And then even after that, once there is an in-state representative, if they're not maintaining the property, they could be fined $1,500 a day for every day that they fail to maintain the property. So I know you don't want to listen to all this, but I guess my question is, and my neighbor is here as well, and we are upkeeping our property, and I'm just afraid the value is going to go down. I'm afraid of crime. I've had to hire exterminators for rodents and insects, and I never did that before, and that's because the grass high, the bushes. And again, I don't want to put any fault toward John or Mario. They were doing everything they could.
Yeah. So, Paul, I don't know if you have any comments on the legal aspects of what's being passed applying to that today, or anything
Well,
to say that?
what's being passed today has to do with foreclosures of properties. This doesn't sound like it really fits into that category. I don't know if this person you're talking about is the title owner of the property?
Actually, it went through a sheriff's sale,
So it's,
and it actually fell through.
Okay.
I checked with the Middlesex Borough. The deed is under new assets, which is a real estate agent.
Okay.
If you go and look at the taxes that have been paid, it's through Wilmington Savings. They did not pay the last taxes. They did not pay the last liens. The man's name is on there. I was just trying to get.
The man you're talking about, though, is as a representative of this new assets?
Yes.
Okay. This might, since you say it went to sheriff's sale.
Yes.
And I assume New Assets is some type of financial company that held a mortgage or holds the mortgage. So that this would apply.
Oh, that's
what
good.
we're doing for that property, which it's another tool, but I can't tell you it's going to be a panacea. But as you talked about the law, and I think the law you were talking about is the law we're implementing here, giving you the power to fine, and you have the liens. But beyond that, there's really not much else we can do. I mean, John, at this point, as a maintenance officer, property maintenance, as Mario, I'm sure did, they can fine for the high grass, et cetera. The borough can take what actions apparently they're taking as a lien against the property.
Right.
But we can't take the property, so then it becomes that part of the problem. But maybe with this new statute, with this new ordinance we're enacting, it can give us a little more leverage. I can try.
Is there any way, can they keep the house off the market now, though? I mean, then, the reason I'm saying that is so now nobody's gonna be interested in it. I mean, when a sheriff's sale falls through, is that, I'm confused with
Depends on why
that.
it fell through.
yeah.
No, they see criminals for liens on the property.
True.
So if somebody else, if you took up that lien, can foreclose on the property. themselves.
Well, somebody else that has the lien, yes, but you still have to deal with the mortgage holder. But why don't,
If you could just.
can you do this for me? I don't want
Yes.
you to do this publicly. Write your name and phone number.
She's already given her name.
And I will call you,
Okay, I
okay,
appreciate
and we can
that.
talk in more detail.
Right, because I don't want to take up the time.
No, that's okay.
I just want someone to follow up, and I thought there was some legal thing that the town had.
Okay, we can talk in
Thank
more
you.
detail.
Thank you for your
Okay?
time, I
You're
appreciate it.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public portion. At this point, can I get a motion to approve the council minutes of August 13th, 2018 agenda, public and executive?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Dean, seconded by Council President Benjavenga. Amy, can you call the roll?
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fostini?
Yes.
Councilman Besh?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President Benjamin?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. For final adoption, ordinance 2116.
An ordinance amending the code of the Borough of South Plainfield to add chapter 334 titled vacant and abandoned residential properties.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for final adoption on ordinance 2116?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Council President Benjavenga, seconded by Councilwoman Faustini. As this is for final adoption, I'll open it up for public comments on ordinance 2116. Seeing none, council comments on ordinance 2116?
Just real quick, Mayor, I just want to thank Clerk Amy for working with Paul Rizzo and drafting this ordinance and getting it onto our agenda. Another means to town to make sure that we have some stricter guidelines in place so that we can move forward with certain things, as the resident mentioned before, and establishing that beautification trust fund to help us, fund the aspects of cutting the grass and stuff like that. So, I just want to say thank you.
Any other council comments? Hey, Amy, can you pull the roll?
Yes, Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Desch?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President Benjavanga?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. Also for final adoption, ordinance 2117.
Bond ordinance amending section 3A of bond ordinance number 2103 of the Borough of South Plainfield in the County of Middlesex, New Jersey, finally adopted February 5th, 2018, in order to revise the 2018 road list referenced in section 3A to include additional roads and sidewalks.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for final adoption on ordinance 2117?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Wolock, seconded by Council President Benjavanga. Again, this is for final adoption. We'll open it up for public comments regarding ordinance 2117. Seeing none, close the public portion. Council comments.
No.
Seeing none, Amy, can you pull the roll?
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Desch?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President Benjavanga?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. Resolutions 18-325 to 18-444 included today. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman White, seconded by Councilman Wolock. Amy, can you call the roll?
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Desch?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President Benjavanga?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. We have one item of correspondence. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman White, seconded by Councilwoman Faustini. Amy, can you call the roll?
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Desch?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President Benjavanga?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. On payment of the bills for $926,941.70. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman White, seconded by Councilman Dean. Amy, can you call the roll?
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilman Desch?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President Benjavanga?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. Mr. Rizzo, anything for us tonight?
Just as I had written a week or so ago, Mayor, about consideration, if you want to have me work on an ordinance or consider an ordinance, has to do with John Abruzzese had brought to my attention his property that he'd been having difficulty with, and he was concerned that if there's a pool in the property and the fence was partly dilapidated, and he wanted to address it. And I said, I really don't think we have on the books something to address. And as I wrote to you, there is a state statute that will allow us to adopt an ordinance which would allow us to use municipal personnel, resources, or money to go in and address issues that you would have to adopt by resolution, each case on a case-by-case method. It would involve, like I wrote, using assets and funds that you may not get reimbursed on for long periods of time. But I wanted to bring to your attention. Now, John, since I wrote, has since told me that the property that started this, so to speak, they actually have put the fence back up, so they've at least addressed that issue. But I said, I would bring this up to you all if you want to consider, I can prepare an ordinance. You don't have to use it, but I just...
So it's the same problem today. We can fine them, go out and give them, fine, bring them to court. They don't have the money and they can't fix it. They're not going to fix it. We still have potentially a public danger.
Was this a vacant property as well?
Apparently it was, yes.
So it's even worse. Yeah, I don't see the harm in, I don't know if anybody else, I don't see the harm in at least adopting something to give the governing body the ability to do that, and then
When
it's up to the
yeah.
decision what, if such a,
I'd say a matter of safety, absolutely.
Yeah, that was what he expressed, was that it was a safety concern for him, and it would be taken on a case-by-case basis. So that all of the options are exhausted.
One question for state statute, I believe, uniform construction code requires a fence to be around the pool.
Right.
Okay, so this, it doesn't address if the fence goes down, is what you're saying.
No, but John had indicated he had already fined this owner
Okay,
under the code,
Under the code.
paid the fine, the condition persisted. So,
Okay.
you know,
So he
his
kept on
point-
paying the fine.
Yeah, his point was, you know, I can fine them, but it's still, we still have a condition that they're not addressing.
Yeah.
So if the fines aren't working, maybe we can,
so enables us to make sure that we can put the fence up to the safety matter, and those fines would go against the property.
But can't Dominic then also fine them as well if you're supposed to have a fence around the pool and there is an owner involved?
That's what I'm saying.
No.
So,
We're gonna go there and put a fence up even though there's an owner is involved.
well, I think
Is
that's,
he gonna
I
repay?
don't, I don't think we would necessarily in that case, but I think that, number one, this just gives you the tool in case it comes to.
Yeah, that's why I was just asking if it's a vacant property or if
Yeah.
it's just,
Oh, I think it could apply to anything, right? And like the councilman said, it would be on a case-by-case basis. I don't think it's something we're gonna just go out there and start fixing fences, but unfortunately, if there's an issue where we've got a problem and there's no other resolution, at least this gives the governing body the ability to go in there and fix it, whereas I guess today you don't have that ability. I would strongly suggest we use
Yeah.
every method available, and fine them and, you know, wherever we can to remedy the situation, especially if it's an occupied unit, but you know, in the case where, you know, like here, resident here, I mean, if you have something where nobody's at the house, it's owned by, you know, a mortgage company or something, and we're not getting anywhere, at least this gives you the ability to, you know, to act.
yeah.
all right.
I agree.
It's not a bad tool to have, just hopefully we never need it, but if we got it, at least it can be debated.
I'll draft something in circulation,
Thank you.
okay? That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Cohen?
You know, Mayor, I'll stay on property maintenance since it was brought up here by Mr. Rizzo. I have a report from John from when he took over property maintenance back on May 2nd. Since then, I guess they had 269 calls, of which 238 have been essentially brought to completion, leaving, you know, 31 outstanding accounts that are, you know, working their way through the current system. So as of the end of August, for the month of August, he had issued 22 violations, 10 liens, 6 cases were dismissed. And so, you know, they've been pretty busy, and I think the summer's been busier than most summers because of all the rain in August, but this kind of gives you a background of the amount of activity that's taking place over there within code enforcement. So of the 269 cases, 238 have been, you know, brought to completion. I left everyone should have a copy of we sold some units back on August 23rd, and those were for bond ordinances that had been previously passed by the council, and this is just the funding mechanism. The winner was TD Bank with a effective net interest rate of 2.14%. Mayor, as you know, I've been trying to get a meeting, but I wanted to bring it up here tonight. I received an email back on August 16th from Omar Hamid from the New Jersey DOT, and the reason why he wants to meet with you is they have a number of different conceptual plans that they have for the replacement of the Park Avenue Bridge going over into Edison there. I guess it's County Road 531, which I'm sure.
County Road, Orford Bridge.
So County Road 531. They were looking to meet sometime in September. I know I've worked with Len trying to get some schedules out. Who should actually be at that meeting? I'm assuming that would be Matt.
I would recommend myself, Matt, and Gary.
Okay, and that's okay with you?
It's fine.
Okay, I know there will be county representatives, but, all right, so it may actually fall into October, because we're you know, kicking around some dates, and I know some dates that Len has conflicts, and some that I have conflicts. But they're looking for a complete replacement of the bridge, and it'll be a few years out. It's not going to take place this winter or anything, but I thought everyone would be interested with that, and after that.
Yeah, I know there was some funds over the years that have been awarded that way, Councilman. So, Oh, and I guess we had gotten a resident inquiry about it. I mean, it's much more visible now that shop right there, and people are pulling in.
And they did do some work on the guide rails, and it definitely is. I mean,
Yeah.
they would not let us pave it until they did that work.
I go over it every day, so I hope it's
Yeah,
okay.
me too.
You know what, he did say, I will say this, when you do read some of the information, you know, it is a little alarming, but he has said to me that it is the decking at this point is structurally sound.
Yeah.
I actually did ask that question, because when you look at it.
And that's always reassuring.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's what he, but obviously in need of replacement. I think that was kind of how it was described to me. And with that progress, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Miller?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. There's an update on the road projects, the road resurfacing project. We finished all the paving around the schools last week, and just today we finished the work on Durham Ave. And that was opened up this evening, probably about 3:30 or 4 o'clock. So the road project for the resurfacing is essentially done without, with the exception of a couple of speed humps that we have to install. The Orchard Road project, the storm sewer's been installed. They're going to start the concrete work next week, and then the paving will be right after that. So the road jobs are ongoing, and we're making progress.
Ms. Anaheim?
Progress, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Lutz?
Yes, Mayor, thanks. I did find out some more information about Woodland and Oak Tree. Unfortunately, it's not good. They probably are looking at the end of October for completion. A forced sewer main has to be moved down. Oh, some medicine.
Edison's had problems with the sewer mains.
Right. So, Fagon, the electric subcontractor, was out working on Park and Oak Tree today, but they can't do anything on the McDonald's light or the Woodland Avenue light until the force main is moved. But they are predicting that they will be finished with mill and pave, hopefully by the end of October.
Glenn, maybe we should just put something out updating
2018.
people.
2018 is what they told us.
Councilman, if you could just talk to the contractor on the corner of Park and Oak Tree, where the Button Park's on. There's, I moved the barrels into, there's like a hole there on the corner, and all those barrels were smashed. I guess they might have been out the road and gotten hit or whatever, so they could just clean up that corner.
I'll certainly bring it up, but I know that they have a mobilization fee.
Oh, good.
So that's why they're not moving it yet. Because, you know, they could have done work on the other two lights, but then they have to demobilize and then mobilize again for Woodland. So, but I'll mention it and see what we can do.
All right, thank you.
Anything else?
With that, no progress.
Thank you. Councilman Ward?
Just want to, although it was a lot hotter on Labor Day than we all expected, we all endured, and it was a great parade, great fireworks. I want to thank everybody for all the hard work they did. On another note, I just want to remind everybody to lock your cars when you put them in your driveway. I know everybody feels safe in South Plainfield. Don't feel like you have to lock your doors, but there's been some theft of cars. Just leave, when residents just leave their doors open. Just click it and lock it and be safe, so that nothing gets taken anyway. With that progress.
Thank you. Councilman White?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Apologize for being a little late for the meeting. Yeah, I just wanted to thank everyone for voting to renew the seamless forms. It's given us an opportunity to have a lot of the forms that were on paper placed online for the building department and some of the other applications and things like that. So moving in the right direction with regard to that. And then also in October, they're going to be installing a new software system for the building department and doing the training on that as well. So they'll tie in very nicely as we move forward and become more computerized. So I just wanted to thank you for that with that progress.
Thank you. Councilman Dean?
Yes, Mayor. Again, our recycling battle going back and forth with that. I did reach out to Alice. She's waiting to actually hear a response back on what the reasons were for, I guess, it was all the south side of Santon or whatever it was, that was completely missed. A few other areas that were missed on, I believe it was the Thursday schedule that, you know, I don't know if the truck broke down again but it was just a lot more homes that were missed again, or, you know, the whole entire route on that side was missed more than the normal stuff. I know Councilman Wallach's house, you know, he had some issues, but one of the things I try to explain is that a lot of residents have been using regular garbage cans to put extra recyclings into, and you know, their policy is it's got to be in the blue recycling containers. They're not going to go in and check everybody's garbage can if it's out there to see if it has recycling. Alice does have recycling stickers that you can put on the cans. Hopefully that'll help it as well, but I'm still waiting to hear back as exactly what the mix-up was this whole time. Right?
My only little comment I want to add to, I've been using the same cans for 20 years. Well, I need new cans, but they weren't blue, so nothing's changed.
I know.
But there is something on the website that tells you exactly what you're supposed to follow. You know, they should be blue cans, or you get the sticker from Alice.
Yep.
There's something about tying up loose cardboard.
The size of the cardboard, tying it up, and you know, can't argue with them on certain things because then they'll always go back and say, well, that's what it's supposed to be. And just because it was done for an X amount of years doesn't mean it was right. You had a good driver, you had good laborers or whatever. Now, you know.
I got the stickers.
Hopefully your house isn't anymore.
Yeah, stickers.
That's funny, actually, they missed my house too. Lou's gonna call you, and I talked about it, I said,
I didn't call, you know.
but maybe that's why, because I didn't use the blue can. Now I know.
I don't know if that's 100% the
Could
reason,
be,
but,
yeah.
you know.
No, one of the biggest challenges in the recycling market is if you use a garbage can, it's assumed that it's garbage. And contamination is leading to high prices in the commodity market and backups at the recycling facilities. John, just so you know, I mean, last week there was 3-4 hour backups at the recycling facilities.
So maybe that's.
Not here, not our facility,
Oh, okay.
but just where they dump it in either Newark or New Brunswick. So it's there's a lot of recycling that's been put out and a lot of it's contaminated. So we want to make sure that people do abide
And I
by it.
believe Solterra is taking our recycling to Newark?
Oh, I don't know. I thought maybe they were taking it from Colgate.
No. One of the last meetings we did have, they did say that their trucks were driving to Newark.
Yeah.
Because they were paying a higher tonnage rate at Colgate. So, you know, if there's backups there, I guess the timeline, turning the trucks around and all that stuff, so. With that progress.
Thank you, Councilwoman Faustini.
I just think it would, you know, be anything remiss if I didn't congratulate the entire Public Celebrations Committee, our first responders, our marchers, and just, you know, I'll leave people out. So the many, many people who made the parade and all of yesterday's Labor Day festivities really go very well in spite of the extremely hot day. So I wanted to do that first. And just a few announcements. September is Spanish Heritage Month. And the library is sponsoring or helping to sponsor a live dance performance. It will be on 9/22 from 12 to 3 at the Senior Center, and there will be some food there from local restaurants. And also the Friends of the Library is hosting a bake and book sale the same day, all day, 9/22 at the library. And next week, we should be having a new digital sign going in at the Senior Center. And I also want to wish a happy first day of school tomorrow to all the students and all the teachers, and I hope everybody starts off very successfully. And with that, progress.
Thank you, Council President Benjamin.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to say thank you to everybody who put together the parade yesterday between the committee and all the volunteers and the parade marshals and those who walked in the parade. I know we had a lot of young kids, cheerleaders or Girl Scouts or whatever. It was really hot out yesterday, and all the way up to senior citizens in the American Legion who were walking in the parade. And it was a lot of heat, but everybody did finish the parade and had a great time. And last night, there was a lot of people out for fireworks lined up all the way from 7-Eleven all the way to where the Bagel Pantry is on South Plainfield Avenue. It was over there. It was a great show, so I just want to thank everybody for yesterday, and we've got progress.
I saw on social media, council president's got a new skill, pushing cars. So he pushed the car in the parade if it wasn't hot enough.
Well, my father was the commander at the Legion. The car he was in conked out. I was having water on the side of the road in the fire department, and he says, "Can you push me?" And I said, "You're not serious." He goes, "No."
Was it
You
municipal?
pushed it.
Oh, he was serious.
I said, "All right, what happened?" And he tried to start, he couldn't start. So I want to thank Bill Denizio and a random resident who came running out in front of Borough Hall. When I finally got over here, I just said, "Can everybody help me?" And they came out.
His name's Howie Engler?
Howie Angler?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And Howie Angler, they ran out and helped, and Howie's wife was
Yes,
helping
on
push
the
with the stroller on the side. And we ended up getting all the way to the end of the parade, so my shins are killing me today, but, you know, gotta do what's right for my dad, so. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a great Labor Day as usual in South Plainfield. The weather was perfect, I think. And we'll take the heat. We kind of learned to expect that. In addition to our DPW, OEM, fire department, EMS, rescue squad, police department, and everybody, there are a lot of other municipalities through Middlesex County that come into our parades one day of the year, and they're here, very late at night. And so through Metuchen, and I think what did we see? Woodbridge and Kendall Park last night we saw. It's a very good tradition that we have in bringing all of those volunteers back if they're so inclined, including our officials, to the rescue squad and kind of host a little dinner. Often those emergency services and DPW folks from across the county and our own borough don't have the ability to actually grab anything to eat during the time where everybody's going into the park and gathering to watch fireworks. And Len, as you probably know, without a doubt, every year the last one's in and the last one's out are the men and women of the DPW. So hats off to them. Most of us were probably in bed before those guys were getting back to.
I was going to say, Mayor, one last one is
Yeah.
actually Ann Dale.
Oh, Ann.
She FaceTime Live both.
Yes.
The parade as well as the fireworks.
Absolutely.
Really allowing, people that are, born and raised in South Plainfield that maybe live out of town or out of state, watching it. And, and we actually get a lot of feedback through Facebook.
If you look at the comments, there's got to be at least a dozen or two or three dozen of people just chiming in. I think all the way from Hawaii to all across the United States and beyond. There's just people indicating how they missed the parade and they're watching from where they're at. So if we ever stop broadcasting those live, I think we're going to have some issues. But yeah, in case anybody saw Ann on Park Ever in the park with an iPad, she's not just taking your own photos of be on your best behavior because you're being broadcast live. So and Public Celebrations Committee and everybody, the county that comes in here and just takes care of the park. So many things go on. There are a lot of people aren't even aware of, but a great job as well. So with that, we'll open up for public comments. Anything on your mind? Suzanne.
Suzanne Lee, Port Bullard Place. Question about the Park Avenue work that's being done. Is that work being done to that traffic light? Because I noticed that when the county changed the traffic lights at Park Ave, nothing changed with the timings. Yet when they changed the intersection at Talmadge and Park Ave, that one now is adjusted based on the traffic that's coming to that light. And it looks like we have the cameras
I don't.
doing that.
The cameras are probably not.
But they're not activated.
Probably not yet until the project is going to be complete.
But why couldn't they do it now already?
No, because
just to
then
help
the
the
other
flow of traffic?
Then the other two intersections would be off.
Oh.
So
right.
probably right now, I would assume
Okay.
it's on
It's just
recall.
it's just the same. It's the standard one.
It's the standard.
But it's like I go that way every day. And
Me too.
You're not going to start working on the bridge until Woodland is done, right?
Oh,
Because
no,
that's
you-
my way out of town.
Yeah.
I got to go either one way or the other.
But the bridge is probably 3 years away.
Yeah, more. And those three lights are all supposed to be synchronized right there.
All three lights will be
Okay,
improved
okay.
and synchronized.
Okay, excellent. All right, and so on behalf of the Cultural Arts Commission, on September 15th, we're hosting our second annual photography art exposition for the public in South Plainfield. So any person who's maybe taken some great pictures on their phone or with a camera and you want to have your artwork displayed, we're looking for, it needs to be somebody older than 16, over 16, because the children have the art festivals within the school system. So it's over 16, but if you're interested in participating, reach out to us.
Over 16 to no age limit.
No age limit up beyond. So, because everybody has that great picture that they've taken with their phone that, that you use as your wallpaper on Facebook or whatever. And, we really want to showcase the community through this art festival. We have about, I think, 10 to 15 people already signed up who are going to be showing their artwork, but the more the merrier. So, and that'll be on September 15th, starting at 3 p.m. At the Senior Center.
Excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Yes, Jen.
Jeff Sider down the way. The recent paving of Cedar Brook Ave, the striping, it's offset to the left. I know there was some controversy on Facebook.
Controversy. There were some questions.
Questions.
I don't know if we call it a controversy.
Was anything taken into consideration coming out of the side streets, Morris Avenue, Walter Street, making a right? You're actually turning into the oncoming lane because of the radius of the corners.
I don't know what the engineer talked about. I think it means
And
everything.
if you're in a truck,
Yeah.
like a Chevy Silverado 2500, you're definitely going into
Yeah.
that. But I noticed it with my Pilot. I've seen other cars as I'm traveling down toward Maple Avenue. Cars coming out of the side streets are coming in the opposite lane of travel. I understand why it was done for the parking on Cedar Brook.
Right, and so I'll let Len address that. And I guess in the past, what we always had was, as people were coming down, going south on the road, they were across the middle lane.
It was striped wrong.
It was straight wrong to begin with, right, and so they were across that center line and just creating havoc literally. So, Mr. Engineer, I'll turn it over to you if you have any comments.
Well, the one side of the road has a lane for parking. There's
Right.
no parking on the right-hand side of the road. If you're looking at the side that has the fields on it on the right side, there's no parking on that side. So there's one lane width on that side, and then you have the center line. Then you have the center line with the lane width, and then you have a shoulder length on the other side for people to park on. So the center line's offset to address the parking.
Right, but it shouldn't be where when you make a right-hand turn, that you're going into the opposite lane.
Well, on any narrow road, that happens, though. I mean, if we had a road that was a narrow road, like you have many narrow roads that are only 12-foot lanes in each direction, or 11-foot, I mean, lanes can go down to 9 foot. When you're turning, you either have to go slow, you have to let cars go by, or you have to make it. But I mean, you can have a road that's only, a 12-lane road in each direction, a 12-foot wide road in each direction.
How wide is that lane?
It's about an 11-foot lane, which is a standard length for a bridge.
But is that from the curb to the line?
That's from the curb to the center line.
Yeah.
But under DOT, are you, like, especially on Morris Avenue, they have the, what would you call it, the cement cupping for the gutter?
Yeah.
That's not a lane of travel.
Well, that's considered the travel lane, even though it has the gutter there, because it goes from curb to curb.
So, Jeff, Councilman Dean brought this to my attention too. Just to kind of recap of what happened. Back in 2006, when that road was resurfaced, the striping was put on in the center. And at that time, traffic safety advised the mayor and council that it was off. It wasn't done right. But the striping was already in, and so they would address it, you know, when it was repaid. When we paid, the traffic safety alerted us that, hey, when we stripe it, that it has to be off-center to the specs of parking on the other side. Mr. Miller took a picture, and I showed it to Councilman Dean, of him parked in that lane from the yellow line closest to the curb. There was 1.5 feet to his, I mean, he measured 1.5 feet to his tire, and on the other side, let me just finish, a foot to the,
I'm not
foot to the
disputing,
concrete.
Rob, I'm not disputing traveling it. I'm just saying when you're making a turn, you're turning into the oncoming traffic. Now, motor vehicle law says I stop at a stop sign and I can make a right-hand turn, and I think the chief could probably support this, okay? I'm supposed to turn into my lane, not turn into the oncoming lane.
Okay.
I'm not gonna sit there all day waiting for cars coming down Cedar Brook Avenue that are heading south toward the town.
Len, does the road meet NJDOT guidelines?
Yes, the lane widths meet.
Chief, is there any objection to what traffic safety advised the striping of that road to be?
I mean, as long as it's within the DOT, I mean, there's not much that we can really even do with that. I mean, I do understand what Mr. Sider is actually saying, though, with that. But, you know, as long as it's within the regulations, there's not much we're gonna be able to do. I mean, the traffic safety went out and did their study with the engineers and that, so, but I see what he's saying on that end of it.
So I think you had two
What
situations.
would be your?
I mean, do they take into consideration, like, in some neighborhoods, where the streets are, the radius of the intersections have a, you know, more pronounced sweep. That, in that case, if we had those sweeps, like in some of the neighborhoods, then that 11-foot lane is fine. It's more squared off in that area to where, you know, it makes it difficult.
Well, these turning radiuses are the normal. I mean, they're not undersized. You normally have larger turning radiuses when you're gonna have trucks on the street, you know, larger trucks. These are the average radiuses, and these are the standard lane widths. If you go into the new state standards, the RSIS, which are the residential site improvement standards, you know, they have many roads that are 24-foot wide. They're 2 12-foot lanes with no shoulders, and that meets all the guidelines that the state has in place. It meets all the guidelines, and it's actually what we needed to do to have room for the vehicles on the other side of the road to park.
Would it be advisable to have no parking on that street? As a solution, that, I mean, that's a busy road with school traffic and
You know, that's another thing that we actually, you know, when we're looking at this, having more things, having narrower lanes, I mean, these are all methods to calm traffic down, to get speeding, you know, to stop. So, I mean, having narrower lanes, having shoulders and things like that is how you get people to slow down, because the road looks a little narrower, a little tighter. They don't see a big 24-foot lane on their side, you know, to race down. So, I mean, that is a means, you know, of traffic calming.
in that argument then bolsters the point of the other side is wider and they're flying down Cedar Brook faster.
Well, the other side, we intend to get a shoulder line striped down.
But again, would it be a solution to have no parking on in that section, given the volume of traffic and the conditions that exist with grad school in the morning and you know?
Yeah, I could speak to traffic safety about that at their meeting. One of the things that they used to be parking on both sides years ago, and the residents, when they did do no parking on one side of the street, the residents had asked that the parking be allowed on their side, because we were going to ban parking on one side. Just like Front Street is another example. Front Street has parking on one side, not on the other, and it's the same offset. It's 11-foot lane, and I think it's 16 feet on the other side. It's a little narrow road.
Yeah,
But,
me and Rob did talk about that, I guess it was last week, right, Wednesday or Thursday, whatever the day was. And I said the same thing, I said, well, Front Street's not even offset, but then, you know, I did drive by and the lines were pretty much almost gone before they paved it, obviously. And sure enough, it was offset, but, you know, 'cause you don't realize it.
I mean, even for a safety standpoint, I've been behind cars heading southbound Cedar Brook. I mean, I even brought it to the chief's attention also. I mean, that crossing guard's taking his life in his hands at Morris and Cedar Brook, because cars are flying down there, coming around, you know, that blind curve.
Yeah, so one of the things that I worked with Tom Cassio and Shared Services, they brought up that there had to be more markouts for the crossing there. And Dave Delaire recommended that we put pedestrian crossing there, 25-mile-an-hour speed limit in the road. He's also looking at different signages out there that would alert you to whether it's crossing or speeding or slow down ahead. One of the challenges is all the trees right when you come over the bridge, that you can't have solar there, so he's trying to figure out some way, but he also has to constantly remind the crossing guards to stay on the south side of Morris Avenue and not the north side because of that curve coming around.
And why would you have to consistently remind the crossing guard to stay on the
I
other
don't know,
side?
maybe there's a tree on the other side that he sits under, but he does go over there and try to, you know, obviously he can't be there all day, but he wants to remind him that, you know, the safest spot to be is on the far side of the intersection.
It's only a spring
All right, thank
and
you.
early fall issue. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Ms. Paul.
Debbie Boyle, Van Fleet. I would like to see the mayor and council do the ordinance for the pools and that type of issues. There is a single resident that lives a couple of doors away from Grant School who's had a pool in the backyard for 20 years. It's never been opened. He catches squirrels and drowns them in the pool in a cage. Now, the town's been called, but because there is no ordinance, they can't make him take the pool down. It is a health hazard. So I would like to see everybody try to work that ordinance with Attorney Rizzo.
That's a weird one, Paul, was it? Granted, I've seen some weird things.
So the pool's never open.
No,
Would that even
20
address,
years.
There's no fence around it?
Mosquitoes.
Yeah.
would that address a pool
Is there a fence around
that's
it?
in
Nope.
the property, but the owner doesn't intend? I don't think there is an ordinance conceived that even
But I don't know
addresses
why
that.
why the pool doesn't have to be fenced, if the water is in the pool and drowns squirrels.
He pulls the cover back and puts the cage in when he catches the squirrel and drowns it.
Okay.
I mean, I know John has been dealing, John, our
Yes.
health
He's
officer,
gone there.
has dealt with many issues like that around town, you know, pools that aren't filled, my sister has one behind her. But I would call the Humane Society and some kind of enforcement person.
Oh,
Should
yeah.
be abusing animals, I mean, that's.
Yeah, they did. The people that live in the
They
3
called?
houses next to him, and, well, there's no house next to him, it's right by Grand School, but on the other side and the people behind, can look out their window and see that going on.
Pretty disgusting, but.
Okay.
But, all right, thank you. And also, everybody's invited to the ribbon cutting and the rededication of Joe's Field on Friday night at 6:30 before our first football game, our first home football.
Yeah.
Okay, and I would also like to thank the mayor and council for giving the Public Celebrations Committee the tools to operate the Labor Day Parade, and also to Glenn Cullen. Chief Parker, Captain Seidenberg, Lieutenant Bourne, Lieutenant Delaire, Superintendent of the DPW, Lynn Miller, I have a whole list. The entire DPW, Tony and Leon, for all your help, hard work, and dedication. The dedicated work from the police department for keeping the entire town safe is so appreciated. Lieutenant Delaire requested no drop-off on Maple Ave of the parade participants because the traffic becomes tied up and the safety of the children become an issue. I requested that the Public Celebration Committee members post on social media that there is no drop-off on Maple Ave. They had to turn down Norwood, go to Avon, go to Kennedy School. The only group that were given permission to drive on Katy Lane was the Funny Factory. They park behind the pool. There is about 10 different groups within the Funny Factory, and many of them are handicapped. So they ask every year, that's the only group that's given permission to turn onto Katy Lane. Nobody else was given permission. CERT was very helpful there. They were great in helping the traffic and keeping the flow of the parade going. Also, our committee works on this parade for 9 months, doing what's best for our community. All the participants work hard for the formulation of their participation. Thank you to all those who participated in the parade. Tom Perry, who has been a parade marshal for many years, is my right-hand man to ensure that all the rules and regulations are followed. He's at the end of the parade. And this year, AmeriCorps reached out with 9 members, came in uniform, and walked the parade line spaced out. I also told the chief that they would be participating so that he knew he saw people in uniforms. They were great. They made sure nobody was throwing candy or literature or anything else. So they did a really great job. I had them on stage yesterday and thanked them. Our lineup is very organized, which we space the bands out so one band is not on top of the other, and the service organizations are in the beginning of the parade. Thank you to Councilman White for reaching out to Carco and Nick Lemo, who supplied the Mustang convertible for our honorary Grand Marshal, and the American Legion for the use of a Jeep. And Nick, thank you and your staff for all that you did to help us yesterday. They were great, very accommodating. Thank you to Kimberly and Ash for sitting and working with me on the parade lineup and the vendor arrangement, which was changed and rechanged multiple times up to the day of the parade at 9 o'clock in the morning. We're very flexible, and we expect other people to be flexible with and trying to encompass everybody's requests. The plaques honoring our 100-plus year organizations were presented yesterday on the stage after the parade, and the plaques and the parade entry chosen will hang in Borough Hall for everybody to enjoy. The entire committee voted to do the plaques because usually in an organization, i.e. Girl Scouts, one person takes the trophy home and nobody ever sees it again. And they feel bad that they don't have it in their house to enjoy. So we decided that we would do plaques. I'll show you and you can look at them if you want. There's 12 years worth of bars on all 6 plaques, and they'll be engraved with the name of each person that was presented the winning entry. And also the 5 100-year plaques plus will can hang with them. It was the Elks, the Knights of Columbus, the American Legion, the Lions Club, and there was one other one. VFW, yes. And we presented those yesterday. So it was really nice, and they were very honored. Also, Mr. Howout, who is the South Plainfield High School Band Director, and Mr. Rosso, who is the President of the Music Boosters. We appreciate all your work that you did to ensure that the pride of South Plainfield, the band and the cheerleaders under Georgianne Larson, were in the parade. They did a great job. Their uniforms, as always, are very neat. Bill Cochran, voice of South Plainfield, and Patrick Boyle, co-voice of the Somerset Patriots. Thank you for your flexibility in announcing the parade lineup with all the last-minute changes. Thank you to Ann Daly, Dottie Paradiso, Diane Janis, Andrew Nugent, and Carmela Suter, and Amy Antonides for all your help on a daily basis with any time that we needed help. Also, Fire and Rescue, we try to honor your requests at the beginning of the parade so that you can quickly return to your stations. We value your participation, and thank you to Jen Ratty, Steph Barfalvi, Jessica Spina, Mayor Nash, Council President Robert Benjavanga, Council Persons Derek White, Joe Wolak, and Christine Faustini, Amy Johnson, and Steph Wolak for coming back to Borough Hall last night to prepare the glow sticks, which we hand out to all the people in the park, much to their delight, because they're asking, how much do we pay? No, it's from the Public Celebration Committee.
Still
so I know, it's great. It's a great thing. We went all the way to the back where it was way dark. As Mayor Nash suggested, we were in the way in the back. So everybody was able to get glow sticks. Also, thank you to Jen Ratty, Jessica Spina, and Steph Bart for returning to the middle school at 5 o'clock with me to ensure that every piece of trash was picked up. DPW, they did a great job taking down all the equipment and cleaning up, and they had plenty of trash barrels there. And thank you to the county for the rental of the stage, which is called the Showboat. They did a great job bringing it in and taking it out. AMP, Rock South Plainfield, Superintendent Dr. Lee Shack and BA James D'Amato, thank you for working with the Public Celebrations Committee on the building use form and giving us tables for the Ed Foundation to use for the 5K race. Kevin Hughes, also thank you for all your help, and Nancy McMahon. Anybody that has costumes still, please bring them to the PAL. I will collect them at the end of the week. And to the characters who participated, they did a great job with those costumes on. It was unbearably hot, so I give them a lot of credit. Nick and Pat DeSantis donated the little flags that the characters carried in the little buckets to walk along the curb line and give out to the children. That was really special. And thank you to all our parade sponsors, Comcast for your fireworks donation, Pyrotechnico for the amazing presentation that you gave last night. Brian Cargill called me at 10 o'clock last night to ask how it went, and it's usually 26 minutes long, and he did it 27. So it was.
He didn't want to hear anything.
27 minutes. It was a great job. Again, the Core Four, who we couldn't do this without, and thank you to TAP and the Observer for all your publications and coverage of the entire 2018 Labor Day Parade. And the saying goes, it takes a village to raise the child of this Labor Day Parade. So thank you to everybody.
Thank you, Debbie. I know I got my first text from you at about 4:40 something in the morning. So much for sleeping in on Labor Day.
Yes, and thank you for doing that.
No
for
problem.
doing the post
No
in Nixle.
problem.
We were sitting waiting, and we went to breakfast at 5:30 in the morning, and we were waiting for your Nixle to come through. So thank you. And I think it worked out pretty good. I mean, there were still people that tried to turn that.
It's usually dispatch that I'm getting text messages from in the early morning of the hours,
No,
but
it's me.
It's you this time. So no.
Sorry.
Thank you for a great job through everybody.
Yeah, to
Thank you
everybody.
for all your hard work.
Everybody who had anything to do with the parade.
And
Thank
Amy, aren't you
for
glad you
everything.
came to a town that has a Labor Day parade?
Oh, yeah, we should have that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's true.
Okay, we have to do that next year.
Nice tradition.
It is.
And this is what the plaque looks like that was presented to the 5 100-year-plus organizations for all the work that they do. And this is a sample of, this was the honorary Grand Marshal plaque. He gets to pick, in his opinion, the best entry in the whole parade. So that'll be engraved, and the other ones are over there if anybody wants to
I
look
think
at
those are going to be a nice touch. So.
And well, and everybody can enjoy them when they come in here. Like I said, one person takes the trophy home, and nobody ever sees it again. So
Can't argue with you.
it'll be great. All right, thank you. Thank you to everybody.
Anyone else? All right, seeing none, we will close the public portion. We are going into executive session. You are more than welcome to stay and enjoy the amenities, by which if anybody needs a bottle of water, I will personally go get you one. Other than that, enjoy the night and see you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Tonight's executive session did not result in any additional items to tonight's agenda. At this point, I ask for a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
So moved.
We are adjourned. Have a good evening.